Yes, folks, there's COVID madness everywhere. Scott Morrison is happy he's got support for his impartial inquiry into the origin of COVID-19 at the WHO. And even Xi Jinping supports it. And why wouldn't he? He's writing the terms of the inquiry, as he owns the WHO. And he's just bribed the UN with another $2 billion. Meanwhile, nothing has been said by world leaders except Trump about the CCP's bullying of Australia through their bogus sanctions on Australian beef and barley in retribution for Morrison's call for the inquiry. And in New Zealand, I'm still gobsmacked at the mindless adulation our communist dear leader Ardern gets for bankrupting New Zealand. And just the other day, Fletcher's laid off 1,000 workers, and James Hardie laid off 120, and Air New Zealand let go another 300 on top of the thousands they've already let go. And still the mindless muppets say, "Thank you, dear leader. Thank you for saving us, dear leader. Thank you for being kind." Anyway, here's a sample of that mindless, vulgar adulation.
We asked you to describe Simon Bridges in one word.
Tosser. Incompetent.
Arrogant.
I honestly don't really know who Simon Bridges is.
Jacinda Ardern in a word is a different story.
Powerful.
She's cool. Gorgeous. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Fantastic.
Yes, a very random survey there.
Awesome. And it's not just Wellington's Cuba Street, it's the country. In our latest News Hub Read research poll, we asked voters what word they'd use to describe the leaders. These nifty word clouds show the top 50. The bigger the word, the more it came up. Jacinda Ardern's is overwhelmingly positive. Her top 10, amazing, good, compassionate, leader, great, strong, empathetic, capable, excellent, awesome. It goes on, you get the picture.
Yes, we have compassionate, caring, empathetic, and there's that word, kind again. All feel-good communist words.
Topping the few negatives, inexperienced socialist, fluffy communist. The PM sums herself up thus.
Right now, focused.
And the Director General nailed it.
Can I use two? Prime Minister.
Ah, very clever coming from Jacinda's UN puppet.
But Simon Bridges' word cloud, on the other hand, well, there's one word to describe it: brutal. Idiot tops the chart, followed by don't know, average, good, annoying, weak, useless, unsure, disappointing. There are a few positives in there, but you have to fossick around to find them, and good and okay are hardly glowing endorsements.
Let's just go back there a bit. So you see what they've just done there? They've zoomed in on the word dickhead. Anyway, now let's listen to Jacinda's global communist message here.
If I could distill it down into one concept that we are pursuing in New Zealand, it is simple, and it is this: kindness.
Here's that communist word, kindness again.
America is governed by Americans. We reject the ideology of globalism, and we embrace the doctrine of patriotism.
Good.
In the face of isolationism, protectionism, racism, the simple concept of looking outwardly and beyond ourselves, of kindness.
Again, kindness.
And collectivism.
Communism.
Might just be as good a starting point as any. So let's start here, with the institutions that have served us well in times of need and will do so again.
We withdrew from the Human Rights Council, and we will not return until real reform is enacted. For similar reasons, the United States will provide no support and recognition to the International Criminal Court. As far as America is concerned, the ICC has no jurisdiction no legitimacy, and no authority.
New Zealand remains committed to continue to do our part to building and sustaining international peace and security, to promoting and defending an open, inclusive, and rules-based international order.
A rules-based international order. In other words, global communism.
Based on universal values, to being pragmatic, empathetic.
Oh, that word, empathetic again.
Strong and kind.
Oh, again, kind.
The United States is the world's largest giver in the world by far of foreign aid, but few give anything to us.
Tēnā koutou.
Thank you, God bless you,
Tēnā koutou.
and God
Tēnā
bless
tātou
the
katoa.
nations of the world. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but on the positive side, some people get it. Yeah, now folks, be warned, there's a lot of colourful language in this.
There's something to be said for someone who can admit that they weren't right about something, that they can look back on their behavior or their belief or something they've done, and they can put their hand up and say, yo, you know what? I was wrong. I'm one of those people. What I did wrong was I was ignorant. I didn't understand. I didn't know what was going on. I used to be a Democrat when I lived in the United States. My dad was a Democrat. My grandfather was a Democrat. Okay, that's what we did. I was born in California. I lived in liberal states, and I didn't know any better. I voted for Barack Obama twice. I even set up an automatic payment once a month to come out of my paycheck to go to a political action committee that supported democratic causes. And I did this right up until I left the United States, right up until 2015. And I came to New Zealand, where my family is and where I spent most of my childhood growing up. And I came back to New Zealand because I consider it home. And when I got here, I realized I was wrong. I should never have supported Barack Obama. I should never have supported Democrats. And when I got to New Zealand, it wasn't long after that Donald Trump won the election in the United States. And that was my awakening. I support Donald Trump wholly, and I back that man. I believe in that man. I believe in his fights and his principles and the things that he's doing. The media don't portray him in an accurate light. The reason why I support that man is because he values life and liberty and freedom and the right for you and me to live our lives without people meddling in our shit. And that is why I support Donald Trump. Why would someone who is a generational, lifetime Democrat like myself suddenly give the middle finger to Democrats and liberalism, both in New Zealand and the United States? It's because I too value life. I don't believe in abortion. I don't believe in race-baiting bullshit, which is what Democrats are just brilliant at, and what New Zealand is becoming just awash in.
They've been doing that for a long, long time, though.
Baiting bullshit. Fuck your labels. Fuck my labels. Fuck all labels. We're at a point now in New Zealand that it does not matter what religion, what creed, what color, what gender, anything. It doesn't fucking matter anymore. The government that is here in New Zealand right now, this ragtag bunch of bitches in coalition, is bringing tyranny to our shore.
That's absolutely correct.
Doesn't matter if you're the tangata whenua, you're the people of this land, protecting Papatūānuku. Doesn't matter if you're a Polynesian from the islands or you're an American like me coming here from New Zealand. We are all under attack. There is literally no justification for the health law that has recently been passed that will allow police officers to enter your house with no warrant. I guarantee you, as a result of this type of power, that abuse will happen. But you will also see statistics around increased crime, because as these police officers come in, they're going to just decide, oh, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong. And these people are almost like judge, jury, and executioner at times. New Zealand's democracy has literally been pureed in a blender, and it's been served up to us to drink. And we're being told that it's good for us to drink this, and it's not. Okay, because what's going to happen is these officers are going to go into your business, they're going to go into your place at home, you're going to find more children being taken and uplifted from their homes by Oranga Tamariki, which is the Child Youth Services of New Zealand. You're going to see people being targeted. It will not be about whether or not you are clustering with people for health reasons. It will really be about your demographics. There will be people who will be targeted for their dissent, including people like me, because I don't believe in this government. I believe that they're up to something bad. I believe that they're up to something bad, and right now they're smiling at us, and they're gesturing with their hand, a handshake. They look like they're trying to take care of us, but I promise you, this is the ploy of socialists, globalists, and Marxists.
Exactly.
They smile at your face, but they hold a dagger in their other hand behind their back, and they will stab us right in the fucking stomach. And then they will turn around and smile at you while you're bleeding from your gut, and they will say, oh, I'll help you. I'll take care of you. Don't forget to vote. Be kind.
Yes, there's that word kind again.
That's the sort of shit that they do. See, people don't know how to take Donald Trump because that motherfucker just says it like it is. Okay? He doesn't coddle people. He doesn't wrap people in goddamn wool. He just says it like it is. And because of that straight talk, which is absolutely out of respect for people and not for contempt, because of that sort of straight talk, all the liberals have to up their game, up their public relations, up their spin to try and make you and me feel lulled into this false sense of security that they've got our back. Yeah, man, they've got our back. And they've got handcuffs too. They want to lock down New Zealand. They want to keep us under their thumb. Doesn't matter what color you are. Doesn't matter your tribe, your affiliation, nothing. This government, on a long enough timeline, will no longer be kind.
There's that word kind again.
This government will destroy New Zealand's economy, will take away your ability to feed your family, to keep yourselves warm and protected in your home, and to basically control your future. We are turning into China. We're turning into North Korea.
Yep.
Just because we are a peaceful little nation in the bottom of the earth that hasn't fucked with anyone doesn't mean that tyranny can't show up on our shores. That shit is right here, right now.
It sure is. Now I'll stop it there, and I've posted a link to the rest of that Brave Company video in the description below. Yeah, now this McCoy video shows exactly what's happening in New Zealand as we speak, and hat tip to Tammy Hung for this one.
Joseph Stalin. Through political maneuvering, he succeeded in removing Trotsky before exiling him. In only a few months, he seized power and moved into the former Tsar's palace, the Kremlin. His ambition for the Soviet Union had no limits. A paradise for workers, the hope for a fairer society. He initiated large-scale construction projects, skyscrapers, railways. However, right from the start, problems accumulated. The communist dream was already starting to crack. The leader of the Kremlin had been governing only on the propaganda front.
We've passed the Child Poverty Reduction Act and have lifted between 50 and 70,000 children out of poverty.
He ordered journalists and filmmakers not to describe the world as it was, but rather how it should be. The harvests are bad? Make films showing radiant peasants in magnificent fields. The results are disappointing? Publicize rigged numbers. For Stalin, the communist system was perfect. He claimed any failures were due to sabotage and blamed the party members in charge of the economy. He seemed to take pleasure in making martyrs of those close to him.
We will cut off the harmful members of the party.
We are in a constant state of stupor and exhaustion.
Paranoid, Stalin decided to purge all of society. His right-hand man, the chief of the secret police...
I may be short in stature, but my hands are strong.
The USSR became a police state, and Stalin's secret police from that point on controlled everything.
The lines in the shops are interminable.
The party was proud of what it referred to as re-education through labour. Deviant minds being put back on the straight and narrow. Heroes were invented. Intoxicated by the propaganda, foreign communist representatives travelled to Moscow to pay their respects to the dear father of the people, he who had restored pride to the workers around the world. Stalin was the enlightened guide of the communists. His portrait was everywhere, and every Soviet was required to honour him in any circumstances, because Stalin personified the success of communism.
Hit hard. Extermination without selection. It's better to go too far than not far enough.
In New Zealand, we have moved to fight by going
decisive
hard.
action.
We must
go
our
early.
decision to go hard.
The very best chance.
We went hard, going hard and going early.
Yeah, now folks, I've also posted a link to that video in the description below as well. And of course, Elliot Achille of the New Conservatives gets it as well.
We are seeing the very democracy, the very conscience, our families, our very children's ideas being taken away and replaced by a vicious ideology. And we know what this ideology is doing. It is an ideology that has at its core the most murderous legacy in the history of mankind. 100 million dead men, women, children, families. It has never worked, ever. And what we need to do is to stamp out this vicious ideology that occurs. We have a line to cross. We have a line. And this line that we have now, brothers and sisters, we are now at the front line. The front line is no longer in a war-torn nation. It's no longer in the United States of America where we can laugh it off. It is here. It is here. And we must stand together and fight against it. It is a vicious ideology that we have now. We are of value. It is time. It is time to stand for value and get rid of ideology. It is time to defend our families and get rid of this viciousness that is attacking our children. We must stand together because the front line that was made was not made by us. It was made by the sacrifices of our fathers yesterday.
Now folks, Elliot Achille was clearly referring to communism in that video clip. Now that clip was posted a few days ago, just after the Labour Party cabal released their COVID-19 health response bill. But it wasn't a reaction to this bill because the clip was from a speech a year earlier, which clearly shows the New Conservatives have had this communist cabal's number a long time.